One light, one
It
destiny.
is Veterans Day, 11/11, 2025 at 11/11
Hey,
is
man.
when we went live, which is kind
On
of
the 11th hour, you know? That's
Yeah.
when they made Harvest Day or whatever it is.
Ooh,
That's
you're
right.
right.
Dropping some
I
knowledge,
didn't
Todd.
even think about that. Todd's bringing the history buff. Welcome, everybody in the Irreverent Warriors and the Grunt Style Foundation community. We are so happy to have you join us today, and we couldn't be more excited to spend Veterans Day with you. And to spend Veterans Day with, of course, Will Wisner from the Grunt Style Foundation. I am Hugh Tyson from Irreverent Warriors. And we have a special guest today, Corporal Todd Nicely from 2nd Marine Regiment, who just today launched a best-selling book that is now #1. We
Number
just heard.
one,
We
Todd.
just found out that he
Cheers.
is #1.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. Yes, absolutely.
And it's only 11 o'clock, so that's kind of crazy.
Yes, I know. It's only 11. We're just getting started.
I don't want to drop this.
We are just getting started. Yes. So we are here to celebrate this book, celebrate Todd, and celebrate service because all of us raised our hand and volunteered to put ourselves into harm's way. And, you know, everybody paid a different cost. Some people, mental health. Some people came out stronger than when they went in many ways. And some people came out with supreme and extreme sacrifice. And so one of the things we wanted to do was to celebrate Todd's book, but we also wanted to understand more about Todd's journey to this best-selling book, because I know that it's been a roller coaster, like all of us, of just, you know, from when for me, the roller coaster started in high school, but I would love for you to walk us through, like, when you initially were thinking about joining the Marines, like, what age were you when you got excited about that?
Well, my first initial of joining the military, I will say, was when I watched Saving Private Ryan at the age of 16, watching those men storm that beach on that first scene, opening scene. Like,
When the hair on your
I was like-
arm just goes up. And
it
you're-
almost felt like I was there, and I was like, for these men to rush into this gunfire for something they believed in, to protect freedom, like, I owe it to them to save the next generations as well and preserve what they have done. And at 17, I graduated halfway of high school, and I was actually going to join the Army, took the ASVAB, and then 3 days before my recruiter was supposed to come, 9/11 happened, and my mom said, I'm not signing for you.
Oh.
So I had to end up finishing my whole high school career. And then I met a girl and ended up doing construction with my dad. Well, 5 years later, the economy went to crap, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do what I wanted to do, but I'm going to test myself. I heard the Marines are the hardest. That's where I'm going.
Nice. Awesome. Okay, so you were a little bit more mature.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I was
unusual,
23
you know,
when I
for
first
this
joined.
area. There's not a lot of Navy influence here, Marine Corps influence
Well,
here.
they
in the
call like
Midwest, a
St.
lot of-
Louis the Marine Corps Mafia because we have more Marines
There's a lot
per
of them
capita
here.
than most cities.
There's a lot of them in St. Louis for damn sure.
There's a lot in Boston, too, for some reason. I don't know why, but Boston.
We grow them. I think it's probably, guys, you know, it's that Midwest attitude, like what Todd was saying. You know, it's the hardest, so that's what I'm going to do. That's the understanding.
Sure, yeah.
That's a draw.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so you end up joining. You go to MCRD.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you signed up to go infantry.
Yeah, I signed up 03 option, so I could have been anything.
Yep.
And my recruiter, I scored a 92 on the ASVAB. He was like, what do you want to do? I was like, infantry. He goes, you are the dumbest, smartest Marine I've ever met.
Love it.
I was like, okay. But he used to always tell me, do you want these boots? And he'd slam them on the table. And I was like, yeah, I want those boots. But they were the old black ones at the
Yeah,
time.
with
He
the
was-
where you had to shine them.
yeah, he was a pilot gunner from Somalia and shit. So
Yeah.
he was a rusty old dude, but
Nice. Okay, so you join, you go to MCRD, you go to SOI, School of Infantry West, and then you get assigned the other side of the country. You
Yeah,
basically
they
get told, like, hey, you're flying from California to the other coast.
yeah, they told us, I don't know if it was a trick or not, but they were like, hey, the class before you guys went to Hawaii, we were like, oh, we might get to go to Hawaii. And then they're like, nope, into the heat swamped place
Yeah.
of North Carolina.
The armpit of the Marine Corps, Camp Lejeune, North Carolina.
Humidity infested, just gross.
Yep. And then, so you check into 2nd Marine Regiment. They assign you to Fox 22. So 2nd Battalion, 2nd Marine Regiment. At what point when you were checking in do you guys know you were going to Iraq, or if that you were going to deploy somewhere?
We didn't know for a while because they had just gotten back from the MEU. And then they were on what I don't know what duty it's called after you get back, like for in case hurricanes happen or something. So
yeah, it's you're like a quick reaction force for humanitarian.
Right. So my company didn't get to enjoy liberty for when they got back, so they were just getting on liberty when we showed up as boots, and let me tell you, all hell broke loose.
Okay, so they were teaching you the wrong ways to Marine.
Well, no, I mean, that was the first time they got to drink, and most of the other guys ran for the like library and cinema, and I just kind of hung around. I'm like, dude, what are they gonna do to me that I can't handle?
Yeah.
Oh, haze me, put me on a locker for 3 hours in a crow position. I don't care.
People don't realize that, like, when you first show up to an infantry battalion, I was a radio operator, and I was always in infantry battalions, and I was lucky that way. But when you first show up to an infantry battalion, you aren't necessarily greeted with open arms.
No, not at all.
You kind of have to. They feel you out, and they're pretty much jerks about it. Mm-hmm. I would think that that's still the case today.
Oh, it's. I don't want to say bad words on the air, but it's play games, you know, and then they just mess with you, and they're like, oh, good, you don't know this, write every other letter in different colors, or we're going for a run. Like, oh no, I can outrun you, it's not that bad.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's funny is when you realize that, wait, we're in better shape than these older guys are. So
but it's like everything you learned in boot camp when right out the window is like shirt tucked in, belt. You know, you go home from boot camp and you're all like prim and proper, and then you get to the fleet, and that just all goes out the window.
Right. What matters is what you do in the field, you know, in an infantry battalion, and how you react. So you guys end up, 6 months later, getting orders to Iraq?
Yeah, we ended up deploying. I got there in 2007. I was in boot camp in March, so it was around June 2007. I ended up in North Carolina. We left April 2008.
Okay, so you did your workup. You go out to 29 Palms. You do the Mojave Viper. You do all the workups for Iraq. You guys go over there. What was that tour like?
2008 wasn't too bad at the time. We were in Rabwa, Iraq. Most of it was settling down. It was like when they were doing voting, so we were security for voting details, and we were watching a bridge for the convoys to get to the main cops, so that way it wasn't messed with. And a couple pop shots here and there, couple IEDs, one V-bid, but that was about it.
Got it. Yeah, I was there for my third tour in Iraq right after you, in that exact same area. So I remember it being pretty calm. Actually, I've got a good Veterans Day story if you guys want to hear it. I was just thinking about it on the way here. It kind of blew my mind. I was like, wait, today's the day. But I was at Combat Outpost Waleed, south of where you all were. And my wife had sent me like Listerine bottles with some alcohol in it, which you're not supposed to have, right? And I had thought, you know, it's Veterans Day. We were on QRF. It had been quiet for like a month. Nothing had happened. You know how it could get real quiet out there, like with nothing going on, almost like you're not at a war, you know? And it had gotten really boring, but we were still doing all of our normal patrols and all that. And I was on quick reaction force, and nothing had happened in a month. And I took a drink of that in my hooch and was like just starting to relax into getting a nice little buzz going for Veterans Day. And it was pop, 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 brr, brr, pop, 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 like right outside where our little hooches were. And I'm like, of course, like within a couple of minutes of me drinking this, like because I was a staff sergeant. Oh. So I was like, so I threw on my armor. And there was another platoon coming back from something, so they went out and handled it. And it turned out it was Iraqi on Iraqi. Oh, so really? It wasn't really anything. But I remember thinking to myself, like, I think the universe is trying to tell me not to drink on this deployment.
Oh, at that point, I'd have been like, let's get it.
Bottoms up.
Yeah. But that was...
Let's drink a little more of this, and then we'll go handle this.
Yeah, that was 2009. But anyway, you're there right before me. You guys are doing those operations out there near the Syrian border in Al Anbar province. And then you guys come back, right, to the U.S.? Yeah,
we come back, and we got back in November. Most of our guys were PCSing at the time because they weren't staying. They had already done a MEU or a combat MEU. You know, they'd done their time. They were getting out.
And you're a Lance Corporal at that time?
I'm a Lance Corporal, and so they give me a squad. And I was like, okay, I was a saw gunner, and I was usually told what to do. It's not like I was paying attention most of the time. So I had to like go through and learn all these tactics, and I'm kind of just learning it on the fly. But
did they send you to the 2nd Marine Division Squad Leaders course?
I went right before deployment. But I did do a couple team leaders courses and stuff like that. But like I kind of knew what was going on because at the end of Iraq, they let us lead some patrols.
Nice.
And, you know, I was constantly drilling my squad leader all the time about, you know, what are 9 lines? What do I do? But I always had this mentality of what I taught my men was always keep yourself in a scenario, no matter what it is. What are you going to do if this happens? Because if you train your brain, you're going to react. If you're constantly thinking, okay, in this scenario, if this happens, I'm going to head for this building, and then I have views of this area, you know, like, even if it's just in your barracks room, set up a little war games on a board. I used to play them all the times with my guys. And it just gets your mind thinking and knowing what kind of, no, it's not, there's never a wrong answer. The problem is when you don't answer. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's true. And I know Will's very good at this, what you're describing. Like thinking about when you go into a building to clear a building, like who can see you from what angles on other buildings. And when you get up on a rooftop, you've described a lot of that to me, a lot of the thinking that you did around that.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's like what we always say, what's a battle drill? Battle drill is what you do when you don't know what to do. And, you know, I think that's the best description for it. But like, you know, Todd's point, if you can find ways to continually drill that to where it's that second nature, it's just there.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I think is remarkable about them is you're already engaging in these activities that you've trained for, even if you don't really feel like you got it down. People tend to just know instinctively.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and in Afghanistan, I kind of threw SOP out the window and started playing backyard paintball because I was getting tired of it.
Yeah, it was totally different. I remember the difference between Anbar Province tactics and Helmand River Valley tactics. And they were very different. It was like the insurgents in Iraq were urban insurgents, you know, kind of like you would see in gangs or in, you know, violent areas of rough cities. And then in Afghanistan, they were more like Vietnam type of insurgency.
They moved, shoot, communicate. They would use the trenches to their advantage and holes in buildings and
and booby traps,
guerrilla warfare, pretty much.
Yeah, and you guys were in a really green area. Because
we were down where Charlie Wilson decided he wanted to build canals to bring irrigation down to that area, and so we had to walk through them all the time. So
and you were on the Pakistan border, so the Taliban,
pretty close.
Yeah, that's where the Taliban, when they were coming up to fight
Marja,
Sangin, all that stuff up north, they had to come through your area. So you guys had like a, you know, almost like the fighters would come and train while fighting you guys and then go further north.
Well, that was our mission, I guess, was kind of to keep route cowboys safe and to keep people from getting to Marja, because I was down there 3 months before Marja kicked off. And so we were there to keep the enemy from getting to Marja so there wasn't more when they invaded Marja.
Got it. So you guys were a blocking force.
Pretty much. Like we replaced 2-8, who did the largest Vietnam helo insert behind enemy line, or largest helo insert since Vietnam behind enemy lines. So
you moved the whole battalion by helo.
Yeah, they pretty much, they got combat ineffective over like 4 months because they were just getting plowed. So we deployed 3 months early.
Oh, you did? So you didn't get to the Mojave Viper and all that?
No, we did Mojave Viper and all that, but then we were going on our leave and they like shortcut that.
Got it.
And I only had to do Mojave Viper once. The second time I was in squad leaders course, so I was like, okay.
Good for you, man. Excited to do it 4 times.
I was the only Lance Corporal in squad leaders course.
That's a big deal for the company leadership in a rifle company to say this Lance Corporal is going to have a sergeant's billet, essentially. Yeah, on paper, it's always led by a corporal, but it's supposed to be an E5.
Well, yeah, that was the thing is they didn't like me, but I was very good in the field. So, like, I was a horrible barracks Marine, like, absolutely horrible. I don't know how I got my good conduct medal, but I was good in the field, and they didn't give me corporal until 1 month before we left because you have to be an NCO leading a squad in a combat zone.
Got it.
So they waited to the last minute to give me corporal.
They didn't have that rule early in the Iraq War. That must have been a more recent thing by the time 09, 10 came around. All right, so then you're in country for how many months before the ambush in which you left Afghanistan?
It wasn't an ambush. I stepped out an ID, but it was. I was there from October to March, so that's 6-7 months.
Oh, wow. You're coming up on the end of your tour,
Yeah, I'm
basically.
almost done. I've made it through 200-something ticks and found over 15 IEDs plus.
200 firefights?
Well, 2 a day. 2 ticks a day for like 4.5 months. Add that up. That's
unbelievable amount
it was
of
crazy.
That is the most kinetic tour. I was on several different deployments, but that sounds like more kinetic than anything I was around.
And they weren't always a lot of them. Some of them were indirect, but they were still considered ticks. But a lot of them, they were on point, and they knew. I got pinned down a couple times where we had helos come down, and I forgot my little thing to shine the helicopters and let them know where I was at. So I had to take my glasses off, and I'm trying to hit some kind of glare so they know where I'm at. Luckily, they seen it, and I was like, "Yeah, hit up that tree line."
Nice.
But it was very kinetic. I had to use myself as bait a few times, and it was interesting.
Wow. Yeah. Helmand River Valley, man. Well, thank you so much. For just all that tour. I mean, this prior to the injuries, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, it was definitely different than Iraq. I remember the first time the bullet flew over my head, and I looked down the line, and I go, "Oh shit, I'm in charge." I was like, I got to do something here. So I got up. I told my one buddy we were going to buddy rush because I had to run across 200 meters of open field to get to the next building. And he was like, "All right, I'll go with you." Well, you know how they teach you. I'm up. You see me, I'm down.
Yeah.
The whole time I can hear him screaming, "I'm up. They see me, screw you nicely." So I was like, all right. But we ended up making it through the building without any casualties. So it was pretty good.
Nice. Okay, and then the injury occurs, and then the IED.
That was at the end. By that time, I was taking out shorter. I was letting a portion of my squad rest while I took out smaller units because we worked better in smaller units in that area because at the beginning they were using larger elements and they would attack them because they knew where they were going and they knew what they were doing. Well, I would split up my smaller elements and I would take someone I trust and give them some guys, and we would bound. One person would set up Overwatch, the other one would go into the village, and then when I was done in the village, I'd have my Overwatch move to the next spot, and then I would move to the next village. So we overbounded with smaller units. And
keep them on their toes. They couldn't predict your
They didn't know where we were.
You were popping up over here. You were popping up over there.
They're thinking 3 guys are over here. Where's the other 8? So it worked out very well. But
the Taliban were like, "Man, these guys are getting too good. We need the next unit."
Yeah, well, they got good on me because they stopped using metallic. That's what ended up getting me stopped my patrol back. I wasn't even supposed to be out that day, but I'm not going to get into that. I was on my way back to the patrol base, and I went to go cross a bridge. I had the minesweeper, and
had you crossed it a bunch before? Are you very familiar with this bridge?
Yeah, it was one of the ones that the locals used, and I was like, "Look, let's show them we're not afraid of their stuff." And it was like a bamboo bridge type thing, and had my lieutenant with me, and he wanted to try to cross it because it was kind of like a jungle gym thing. And I was like, "No, sir, stay back. Let me go first. I always go first." So I went down and I was sweeping it, and I took that left step, and I just remember flying through the air going, "Oh man, they finally got me."
So the metal detector did not pick it up?
No, they ended up moving to just ammo with lead and a blasting cap and a pressure plate with wood and low metallic copper.
So not enough to pick up?
Not enough to pick up at all. It was 40 pounds.
Wow. See, I mean, that's like the way that they could modify their tactics. Unbelievable.
Yeah, well, people say that they're just they watch everything you do. Like the guy that's standing there on the corner who looks like he's just selling stuff, he's probably part of the Taliban, and then he's watching your tactics and how you move around. And then they report all that. And then, I mean, the way that they use small children sometimes too really irritated me because they would use them as like telegram runners between buildings. And it's like, okay, I know that you're in those buildings because why would a child be running around in the middle of a firefight?
Right.
Like usually you watch them head for the desert.
Right.
So it got annoying. Like my guys wanted to shoot him. I'm like, we're not shooting a kid right now. He's not armed.
They're using our rules of engagement against us.
Yes.
I saw that every tour I was on. You saw that in Baghdad a ton, I know.
Oh, yeah.
Or because we ended up having coin ROEs instead of combat.
Right.
So if they didn't have a weapon, we couldn't shoot them. But we could watch a guy shoot at us and then go into a building, change clothes, hide his weapon, come back out, and not a thing we could do.
Yeah, no, I remember.
It was
'cause
horrible.
It was under President Obama.
Well, yeah, it was
at
bad.
that time. But anyway, you end up hitting this IED and then have to be immediately medevaced, right? And I think you had told me it was like instantaneous, like one of
Yeah.
the fastest medevacs.
Luckily, they got the tourniquets on quickly, and I believe there was a force coming back from further south, and they said, we'll pick them up. I think it was 6 minutes till they actually dropped in and picked me up and got me to Dwyer.
That's unbelievable because like when you were in Iraq, that would have been an hour and a half.
Yeah, like,
out at the Syrian border to get a helo.
well, we were so far south that the ones coming from the north, they would only be able to come down on station for 2 minutes, and then they'd have to fly back.
Because they're out of fuel.
Luckily, whoever was down there at the time
Yeah.
was on their way back, and they ended up picking me up and taking me to Dwyer.
Yeah. One of many times I feel like the universe has looked out for you.
And one too many times. I think I'm on my last life.
So you get medevaced, and I mean that leads you to essentially getting medically retired from the Marine Corps, correct?
Yeah, which was unfortunate because I like have this 3-day curse because 3 days later I was supposed to pick up sergeant and re-enlist.
Oh wow!
And once I got to the Wounded Warrior Regiment, they were like, "No more sergeant for you." And I was like, "Oh man, come on."
They're training you. That's like
They're training me for disappointment.
yeah, they're training you for your VA experience coming
Right.
up. Man.
Oh man, yeah. So I mean, anything you want to cover before as you get home? I mean, that's probably where the mental health comes into play, right? Where
Yeah.
you're in a bed, you can't jump out of it and do whatever you want anymore,
Well,
right?
in the hospital wasn't that bad because I
Okay.
still had a mission. Like my mission, it didn't sink in that this was permanent yet. It was just like, okay, I got a new mission. Let's learn these prosthetics and get out of here because I was supposed to be there for 4 years. They said 1 year per limb.
Oh wow.
I was like, that's not happening.
Yeah. I mean, you lost all 4 limbs in the blast. At what point were you notified of that, or did you just kind of know that?
I thought I had only lost my legs because I could. It's weird because I could still kind of feel my fingers, but I never really opened my eyes and looked down.
Okay.
My wife, I asked her one day for her computer, and she was like, "Honey, you're missing your arms." I was like, still in the ICU. I was like, "Okay, well, did anybody else get hurt?" Because at this point, I didn't know. And she said no, and I was like, "Well, that's good." And then she said I went back to sleep, but I was in the ICU for quite some time because of infections and everything else
I
like
bet.
that.
Yeah.
And the commandant and the sergeant major actually came and pinned the Purple Heart on me because they thought I was a goner. So.
Oh man. Man.
But then I get out of there and I wake up in the other hospital and they're like, I had 2 choices. And it's kind of what my book's about. Your choices change lives. And I had it tattooed on my back before I went to Afghanistan because I knew what was going to happen. But it was like either lay here and sulk about it or get up and do something. Like go to therapy, work your ass off, learn how to use these things and do it. So that was my mission. But then when I got home, they built me this smart home, which was great, but it kind of mocked me in a way. It was like, here's things you can't do anymore, so we're going to make it easy for you. And I was like, it's not what I want. And it just ate at me, and I slowly mentally started to drain. I had no purpose. I had no job. I was just sitting around doing nothing. And one day in 2016, I went outside and shot myself in the chest because I just was tired of living life the way I was living it.
Wow. That's man. I have so much like compassion and respect for you in telling this story. This is very deep. Now, when you said that you had it tattooed on your back because you knew what was going to happen, what did you mean by that? You knew what was going to happen?
Well, because PBS had run a series, I forget what it was, Frontline or something like that, and they showed 2-8 getting off the helicopters, and it immediately shows a dude taking a round to the neck. And so I watched that, and I brought all my guys to my apartment, and I said, look, this is what we're getting into. And I prepared myself for that because any choice I was going to make in Afghanistan was going to affect one of those guys' lives or their families' lives or like anything. And
Right.
so your choices change lives. If you decide to make a right turn when you're supposed to make a left and you hit another car, you've just affected someone else's life. Now they don't have a car. They don't have, like
Wow.
all of your choices are eventually going to change someone's life. You throw a cigarette butt out the window, someone's got to pick that up.
So at like 25, you're already thinking this way.
Yeah, it was weird, but being in charge of someone's life is a responsibility that, or actually I should say, having to make a decision that will affect someone's life or death.
Yeah.
Is a hard responsibility to have.
Absolutely.
Especially at the lower level. Like at the CO level, most people, they don't know their guys. We're just pawns they move around. But when you're that close with somebody and you spend 24 hours a day with them every day, and then you make the wrong decision and you lose that man, that's going to affect you in ways you'll never know.
100%. I have a lot of stuff coming back for me right now. Will, you probably as well. But yes, it's been a while since I put myself back in that mind frame, because I feel like that with my family, but it's just not the same as when you're in an infantry battalion in Iraq.
I mean, those
or
guys know
Afghanistan.
more about me than my family knows about me because all you do is like, I think the East Coast builds a little bit more better Marines than the West Coast because on the East Coast of Lejeune, there's nothing to do. Nothing. It's either tattoo parlors, Walmart, or the bar. Or you hang out on the catwalk with a 12-pack of beer and you bullshit all night. So
Yeah, you get to know one another.
like in
really
California,
deeply,
you can go to Los Angeles, you can go to San Diego, there's Oceanside, there's all
Lots of
kinds,
distractions. Yeah.
just everything.
Yeah.
So it's different.
So you shoot yourself. You survive that.
Yeah, I nicked my heart, and now I'm living with the responsibilities of it. I got a defibrillator, heart decongestion failure, but I'm still here. I'm living on borrowed time, and I got to make the best of it.
Absolutely. And so, so this happens. And then do you continue to spiral even further after that? Or is that a turning point where you decide, like, I need help or I need to go, I need to, I'd like to go to a retreat, or what kind of came up in the months following that?
Right after that happened, it was the look in my family's eyes when I had to look up and see, like, this time they weren't happy I was alive because I had waken up from the war and been blown up and the enemy did it. This time they were looking at a guy they were like, why would you do this? Looking at a guy like, why don't you want to live? And the pain I would have caused them really changed my mindset on ever doing that again, for one. But two, it made me go, okay, I need to find something to do. So I tried college. Well, that wasn't working out, and I met a new girl, and, well, then obviously things got complacent again, and I started to slide downhill. Well, I was with a couple organizations already, and my best friend and my, at the time, girlfriend/fiance and Joshua Chamberlain Society took me out for my birthday, and they're like, look, you're going to go to a program called Focus Marines. And I was like, they'd been chasing me down for 8 years. I was like, I'm not going to that kumbaya bullshit where everybody's sitting around a fire, singing songs and telling stories. I'm not fucking doing it. Well, sorry, I keep cussing. But
no, you can. This is the Irreverent Warriors podcast.
Oh, okay. Well,
you're good, homie.
Either
You're
way,
good.
I was like, I'm not doing it. And they're like, I was at almost rock bottom again. And I was like, you know what? What do I got to lose? Fine, I'll go. So I went and I sat in that seat, and the first question that I was asked while I was there was, you knew what you were willing to die for, but do you know what you're willing to live for? And that kept me in my seat all week, because I was like, I don't have an answer to that. I really don't.
So they ask you like deep philosophical questions about yourself.
They retrain your mind on the way you think about things. Like, they make you take a different perspective look at things. Like, you could see that cup as blue, but I could see it as white because of the inside of it. Like, it's like, what makes you, whatever your we're all programmed by the age of 8 by like 80%. That's learned from our environment.
Yep.
So they teach you how to readapt and relearn different things and take other people's perspectives instead of dismissing them and maybe trying something different,
Yeah, I mean, back to your the title of your book and everything about choices. you have a choice of what perspective you want to take on this particular scenario. And whatever one you identify with the most is what that reality will be for you.
Here's the kicker. Every moment is a choice. Whether I want to raise my arm or not, that is a choice. Every choice. Every moment is a choice.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love the simplification behind that because we spend a lot of time making things really, really, really complex. But I recognize that when I'm in the driver's seat of what perspective I'd like to take on this scenario with this person that's emotionally upsetting me, and I can choose to take the perception of, oh, they're trying to personally attack me because they have something against me, or they're attacking me because they're just attacking anyone because they're very unhappy. You know what I mean? There's just different
There's so
ways
many
to
different
look
perspectives. And one of the first things they teach you is the gap, because we are built on instinct. We're instinct creatures. And the first thing we do is what our program tells us to.
Yeah.
And so I've learned that, like, I don't know, my first instinct is to usually get angry, but
It's the easiest.
people think they know themselves, but if you really get to know yourself, you'll know when that's coming on and you'll know how to stop it. You'll be like, nope, I'm not going to do that.
I'm going to create space.
I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to think about what I want to say instead of just going, oh yeah, well, this is what you're going to get.
Yeah.
So what was your main entryway beyond this event that you went to, where this philosophy was presented to you?
Right.
When did it kick into gear? When did it become part of your identity of this is who I am now? I'm not just studying this calling. I am walking this calling.
Well, before I had gone to Focus, I was self-medicating heavily. I was using methamphetamines and things of the nature, and they kind of led me into a drug-induced paranoia state. So after I went to Focus, it was still there, but I was still trying to practice these tools. Well, I started microdosing, I guess, with psilocybin, and it would help me realize and rebuild a different pathway of past the paranoia.
For sure.
Like, I would be sitting there with my family and I would be thinking, oh, someone's trying to do something. They're trying to get into something or something like that. And I would go, wait a minute. Why are you thinking like that? Like, this is your family. This is what life's about. And so it helped me rebuild that character and that rethinking of not everything's what it seems, because in your perspective is reality. And if your perspective is always that bad things are going to happen, bad things are always going to happen because that's all you're concentrated on.
For did
you have a mentor that was really working you through that? Because, I mean, you're a super smart dude, man. And like your awareness at 25 that, your choices, impact others. Did you just sort this out on your own?
No, I was a middle child. So, like, I got to see the older kids and then the younger kids. And sometimes I was the babysitter. So I learned a lot. And my mom was a great woman. She had to work all the time, though, so we pretty much raised ourselves. And I love her to death for it because they worked all the time, but she was never around. We were basically running the neighborhood wild, so we were wild children, and that's what the Marine Corps kind of gave me, was discipline. I've always been kind of intellectually smart. I never had to really study for tests or anything like that, but it's like really knowing yourself is the biggest accomplishment you can really know, and I'm not even that far into it yet. So
it's the most difficult thing I've ever been up against.
The hardest thing for me was learning to say I'm sorry and no. I'm right. Like, learning to say I'm sorry or I'm wrong was one of the hardest things for me to do.
For sure, because you have to take accountability.
Well, I would say sorry, but it didn't mean nothing.
Same.
But to actually say sorry and mean it, and then it actually means something to the person you're saying it to, because you're not just going, oh, I'm sorry, because you keep messing up. Like, if you mess up and own up to it and you're like, I'm sorry, then it means a little more than just going, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm saying it to appease you versus I'm saying it because I'm taking accountability emotionally for what I did.
Like, if you're doing it over and over and over and over and over and over and still saying sorry, you don't mean sorry. You're just saying sorry because that's what you think they want to hear.
Right. It's inauthentic.
Right.
Yeah. And one of the things I've always noticed about you is your level of authenticity is off the charts. And I meet so many different people, and we meet so many people in this space, and there's just a lot of, I don't know what you would call it, like, folks that are kind of presenting a military persona or a hero kind of hat that they've put on that they want you to. And one of the things I love is when I meet folks and you can just tell like who they are inside is who they're expressing to everybody they meet.
Yeah, I mean, I still fuck up. Everybody fucks up, man. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but
absolutely,
I'm in a way better place than I was 10 days ago or 15 days ago.
Yeah.
You know, every day if I strive to be just a little better, then I'm doing all right.
Yeah, we have these emotional Zoom support groups in IW, and we call them Better Than Yesterday. Yeah. And it's just all about, it's not about giving advice to people. It's much more about just listening.
Yeah, being heard.
Yeah, people are upset. They're going through something. They're having suicidal ideation. They're having these really intense moments, and they don't want you to call 911. They don't want you to throw them a pity party. They literally just want to share, and they want people that understand and have been there to be able to reflect back to them like, that sounds really hard, dude. Like, I'm here to hold your hand. Like, I'm here to be with you through this shit.
I understand that, but sometimes you got to be a little careful with that because sometimes people get in the victim mindset.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And if you get in the victim mindset and you're letting people do that to you, then they're going to stay in the victim mindset of like, oh, well, my boyfriend moved out because of it. Well, what happened? You got to think about what happened prior to all of
accountability. What red flags did you ignore?
Right. What were you doing? Yeah. What led to this? Like, this just didn't happen. Move backwards in the story.
Right.
And start there and go, oh, well, okay. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have been doing that too.
Right. Yeah. Accountability is very, very, very difficult. So, no, but that's beautiful. So your mental health recovery begins with you. You are healing you is what I'm hearing. Yeah. You're going deep within yourself and finding your essence again, reconnecting to that, and then bringing that forward and helping yourself be more balanced emotionally. So, and then all this leads to, tell us about the book. Like, I mean, this is just
number one
bestseller
by
in the
10
United
o'clock
States
this morning. Thanks to everybody who helped made that happen, by the way.
Yeah, shout out. Hey, everybody that's out there, please go on Amazon. You're seeing the book on the screen right now. Your choices change lives. I know I ordered a copy this morning. Will ordered a copy this morning. Please get on there, check it out, put it on your Kindle, order a hardcover. They got multiple options of hardcover, softcover, all that stuff. So check it out and give Todd a boost and a like and you can also follow him on social media as well.
Yeah.
So tell us more about Your Choices Change Lives and why people should pick it up.
It's really basically my life journey. What I've been talking about here in a little more detail. Like, it starts from growing up and not knowing. I was never diagnosed with ADHD, but I have it severely because, like,
welcome to the club.
In school, like, I was in school growing up, I was the smart, good kid for a while, but then I was the bad kid because I got bored with everything because I was just like, I already know this. Like, what do I want to do now?
Same.
So, like, I never got diagnosed because I was older by then, and I was, getting in trouble, but so were all my brothers, so they just thought it was a Nicely thing. And so, it was
genetic.
It was definitely hard, but I'm just one of those people where my attention span doesn't stay in one spot very long. Like, I'm on to the next thing. Like, I like something. I'm a bad addict with everything. Like, if I like something, I like it so much that I don't stop doing it until I recognize that it's causing problems in my life. It could be anything from a video game to playing fake casino slots on my phone. Like,
sure. Well, I mean, another way. Yeah, the way I hear that is that you're super curious and you can get very focused.
Yeah, but then I could give it up in a heartbeat once I find something else new. I'm like, oh, well, this is shiny now. Let us go play with that.
Yeah, welcome to the club. Yeah. I mean, this is what we all struggle with every day.
I always notice a certain trait in people that are that way. If you're really into something, it's like you master it and you master it fast and it sticks. Because I'm sitting here listening to you, and we're both very much in this go inward, find your path up the mountain healing space. And so much of what you're talking about, it's like you're quoting all of the deep stuff. Like that's you can't fake that. That's not something people memorize and just spit out for whatever reason. You know it. It's in you.
Well, like I said, I went through Focus, and then I learned be good at one thing before you try to be good at everything. Like, my first goal when I got out of there was to be a better partner to my partner, because if I get good at that and I feel like I'm doing very well at that, then I can move on to the next thing because I've already mastered some of the skills to retain and repetitive and emotionally repetitive. Then it's learned in my brain. Now I can move on to the next thing, and I'm not falling. If I'm trying to do everything at once, I'm going to forget what I'm doing.
Yeah, so like with rifles, you start with the basics.
Right.
You start with all the basic marksmanship traits, and then at some point you're
break
able
it
to
down.
And at some point you're practicing hitting a moving target on a motorcycle, right? But at the beginning, you're doing all those really basic things, right? And that's what you're describing.
Exactly. It's you got to start small on something, work your way up, and then get good at it, and then move on to the next thing.
Love it.
But you still got to practice the other ones. I find myself still not practicing blowing up because that one happens all the time. So that one's hard to control still.
Yeah, but you have that. I mean, it's funny in the Marine Corps, they take you in the middle of your late teens, early 20s, where you have that explosive take initiative, take that reactive, like take action right away when emotion hits you. And then they reinforce it. And they say, yes, do more of that, do more of that. Yeah. And then once you get out and you realize, like, I'm trying to be a good family guy, I'm trying to be a good husband, I'm trying to be a good wife, I'm trying to be a good parent, that's a completely different level of emotional intelligence. And we almost trained away our emotional intelligence, and now we've got to try to bring it back.
Well, you're trained not to feel emotions. And then so when an emotion comes up and you don't like it, you go to boozing and self-medicating because you're like, I don't like the way I feel. I like the way this makes me feel.
Numbing.
Yep, exactly. But back to the book, it runs from my childhood to athletics to when I joined the Marine Corps, step by step, almost. But as you go through the book, it starts on, like, each chapter starts with that day in Afghanistan and then preludes to the story.
Cool.
And then the next chapter adds on to the story in Afghanistan, but then goes into why that's important. And so It's a really unique book.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Good work. I can't wait to read it.
I give a lot of credit to my editor. She did a lot of the work. I just kind of told her, like, hey, that doesn't sound like me. We need to change those words. And you better leave the word fuck in there because that's where it belongs.
Yep. Awesome.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, once we get the, I think, so my copy will arrive on like 2 days, I think, with the Amazon.
Yeah, they said it'd be like right at your doorstep the next day or something.
Yeah, it's pretty fast. Well, once I consume that, I would love to come back and have you in again and really talk about.
100%.
Yeah, let's really dissect the lessons in this book, man.
Oh, dude,
I think you're a healer, dude. I think you're carrying some powerful medicine here, and you're codifying all this information in this one book. I want to learn it. I want to make the world understand these things because I'm picking up what you're putting down, man. It's good stuff.
And it's rough because I never wanted to be that guy, but when I went through that focus class, I realized the impact I had on just the guys that were trying to heal by being there.
Inspirational, dude.
Just they were like, why am I complaining when this guy can't even, like, he's like missing his arms and legs, but yet he's still getting up and doing everything. It's like, I didn't want to have to be that guy, but if the shoe fits, wear it. But I have to be a good person in order to. I hate hypocrites.
Yeah.
So I can't just be that guy that says, well, don't do this, and then I'm turning around and doing it.
Yeah.
In the background,
Hey, man, all the real deal dudes that I know in that space, they're picked. They don't choose to go do that. They're called to that, and that's just another level of credibility to me. So.
Yeah, and you told me that you liked to walk point on patrols as a squad leader.
Yeah, I never sent anybody to do anything I wouldn't do myself.
Well, this is you doing that still.
Yeah, I guess
I know you don't like it, but like in the emotional intelligence healing space, the self-healing space, you're talking about walking point on the squad, dude.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, after I got injured, I was in the spotlight for so long that it took me like 6 years to get out of it, and now I'm putting myself back out there again, and it's a little scary. It's a little anxiety ridden, but I'm a better person than I was back then because I was basically putting on a mask for a camera and was told not to feel my emotions, just be happy because all this good stuff's happening to you.
But you're dying on the inside.
But I was just dying on the inside, man. I was just like, I don't like who I am. I don't like what I'm doing. I don't like this situation. I don't want to be like this. But, you just kept moving on because other people were expecting you to and were looking at you for that guidance. So you were like, everyone's looking at me, so I got to do this. But in the background, you're like, my alone time, I'm like crying in the shower. So
Totally, man. I mean, I just remember the humility. Yesterday, we were having a conversation about a bio that I was kind of mocking up for you, so we could, tell your story a little bit. And you were like, take the word hero out of there.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, because I see you as a hero.
Yeah.
You inspire me. And so if I respect you and I look up to you and you're a hero, like I understand your humility of wanting to remove that word, but that's how I feel about you.
Well, when I look at the word hero, I think of the guys that didn't come home. Me, I'm a guy who just got to come home missing some parts.
Well said. I respect that for sure.
Yeah, but you know what, man? It's the way that you do it and how you're living your life and the inspiration that you are to others. There's a lot of people out there that they're looking for ways out of dark places because those guys that did make it home are keeping them anchored there. It's the guys that did come home and are doing good things like what you're doing. That's what makes you a hero, brother. So
Absolutely.
can't wait to get into that book.
Wasn't always there though, like because I didn't get to grieve losing my buddy 7 days in, and so that was a big healing process for me because I always kind of wanted to blame myself. I had survivor's guilt. I had why him, not me.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot of work. It doesn't happen overnight. To those who are listening, it's not just a cure. And I even say in my book, hey, if you're looking for the answers in here, they're not in here. This is just how I did it.
Yeah,
And
leading by
so-
example instead of being a guru that's telling people what they should do. You're leading by example, and I think that's the next level. Like I think that's the new
Without a doubt.
leadership that everyone's ready for. I don't think the people that are saying I have the the silver bullet. That's all lies because I went down so many of those paths and I had to heal me from the
internal,
inside. Yeah, absolutely. So, any saved rounds, any final thoughts for the audience?
Yeah, I would just say, get to know yourself a little better than you think you do. Like notice everything around you. So when you start to feel something, ask yourself, why do I feel this way? And that'll help you a little bit along your journey because once you start to notice why you're feeling something, you can change that.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. I love that. Yeah, just noticing. It just starts with noticing, right? All right. Well, Will, Todd, it's been a good one.
Man.
Thanks to everybody, and thank you to all the service members and women that are tuning in. Happy Veterans Day. Please, I hope you're doing something to pamper yourself. I hope you're doing something to enjoy this day on 11/11. And
One more thing.
Yes.
Also, call somebody, and if they don't pick up, call somebody else.
yes, call somebody. Yeah, that's a great. It's a great day and a time where you can call anybody you've served with, and they'll probably respond or pick up the phone. So, great. Thank you for ending with that, Todd. Thanks, Will.
bet.
And thanks, David, and the crew that helps with the production of the podcast.
Happy birthday to the U.S. Marine Corps a day late. Happy birthday to you back there, David. I know you guys share a birthday, I think.
Oh, nice. Yes.
I didn't get to celebrate yesterday because I had to be up early this morning. So
Well, we should fix that.
Yeah, we should.
I'm
fix
gonna.
that for you.
Well, I never celebrate Veterans Day because I'm always hungover from the Marine Corps birthday. So I'm gonna celebrate Veterans Day today
Today's the day.
and be hungover for my flight to Cancun.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. We hope you have a safe, wonderful day
right.
and many blessings.
Many
All right.
blessings. Stay waxy, everybody.
Yeah. Peace.
I would peace, but I can't.
Love it.
The Gruntstyle Foundation continues fighting for those who have served. Support our mission at gruntstylefoundation.org/donate. Stay strong, stay vigilant, and keep moving forward with purpose.